Using heartbeats as song bass, right theme song for the ICU.
Intentionally competent.
Providing intensive care for global mind. Tackling war propaganda, power to put global conflicts under the microscope. Exposing the system's lies and hidden hands that keep the war machine alive. From Gaza to Tehran, Washington to Tel Aviv, we dig into the facts, the headlines skip, the history they distort, and the human costs they bury. No political PR, no sanitized sound bites, just raw, verifiable truth, served with moral clarity and zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Hearing never ends, we reframe always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead is your guiding staff. With ICU, may you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you. You not believe, want you know that I do, I want you to know that we feel, don't just chew the feel.
Welcome back to ICU, where your inner consciousness is unraveled and the intentionally competent you seeks to inhabit the place where trauma literacy meets geopolitical reckoning. Here in ICU, we don't rant, we reframe. I'm still here, still your infinitely reluctant therapist to the national and global psyche. But today, still seating across from Uncle Donald, an emblem of emotional overload in the global arena. But now, I'm also across from the enabling minds that operate as if our society is too confused to grasp it's being overrun with our eyes wide open. This has never been, like I'll tell you, and will never be armchair therapy. This is psychodigital excavation. Today's episode is called The Making of a Global Narcissist. And this charts the rise of a man whose fascination with authoritarian display reveals not strength, but nervous system hijack. Welcome again. So imagine Trump salivating at parades orchestrated by President Xi of China, flanked on both sides by Putin and Kim Jong-un and other anti-Western strongmen. A spectacle of power, choreographed with precision and threat. It's theater masquerading as authority, what Uncle Donald always wants but can never get. Because this is America. In stark contrast, just imagine the horrible parade in DC, a transactional show of force, military deployments to occupy Washington in the name of curbing crime, not healing trauma. It's not about political safety. It's about political intimidation. So let's parse through this. Let's call the bullshit. Remember back in 2024, the president deployed the National Guard to DC and threatened to send troops to Democratic-led cities like Chicago, Oakland, or Baltimore. Even though crime rates in many Republican-led states are far higher than that. Check the facts. You can read The Guardian. You can read Axios. You can read a bunch of other news and media outlets out there that give you facts. Yet, he never proposed any similar federal interventions in red states with higher crime rates. Take, for instance, an analysis done by Axios of FBI data that found that 13 out of 20 U.S. cities with the highest murder rates were in Republican-run states, often with Democratic-run cities. A long-term study also shows that red states have consistently higher murder rates than blue states. From the 2000s to 2020, murder rates were on average 23% higher in red states than in blue states. This isn't selective enforcement. It's political theater, weaponizing fear while ignoring where pain actually runs deeper. It's crazy, but this is where we are. This is where we are. And we examine the relocation and the retaliation. Now take a look at the Space Command. Trump announced, this is just a couple of days ago, September 2nd, that was yesterday, that the U.S. Space Command headquarters would move from Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama. That's reversing a Biden-era decision. Trump criticized Colorado's mail-in voting system as crooked, stacking the decision with political symbolism. Huntsville, also labeled Rocket City, offers aerospace infrastructure and economic incentives, but critics warn of millions in taxpayer loss and risks to military readiness. But that means nothing to Uncle Donald, because he has very vindictive tendencies and he must punish those who are against him, or he perceives them as against him. Wow. This, from my humble purview, is governance, not as strategy, but as score settling, rewarding loyal states, punishing dissenters. It's crazy. So let's examine this trauma-informed governance and let's analyze it against a power projection. What if the state didn't perform trauma, but healed it? That's the question that always sits in the back of my nervous system. Imagine governance that regulates rather than intimidates, that invests in mental health and community care instead of militarized symbolism. Imagine governance that models emotional regulation rather than gaslighting press briefings. This isn't poetic fantasy. It's political therapy. Here in the ICU, we engage in a lot of inner authority practices, leveraging internal control tools for higher living. So within this week, our practice is reclaiming regulated citizenship. Your civic nervous system checklist is as follows. 1. Spot the trauma triggers in policy. Ask yourself, which policies dysregulate me? Where do I feel shut down or enraged? 2. Define regulated leadership traits, emotional steadiness, ethical listening, nuance. Oh, how I miss the days of nuance. Clarity in conflict, not confusion. Courage in repair. Do you remember back when President Obama cried when those kids were murdered in Sandy Hook, and Republicans were laughing at him? Weakness. How pathetic are we? How pathetic are we? No empathy. No empathy. We need to repair this. We can't do that when we fight against each other. We can only do that when we leverage inner authority for our community wellness. Engage from your regulated self, because if you're not regulated, you can't engage optimally. In every civic act, from voting to protest, ask, am I performing outrage or am I offering restoration? hold your inner state as your state. You say it out loud. I govern my body with compassion. I serve my community with presence. There's a lot to unpack here. But I know we're all overwhelmed with a plethora of information that's being thrown at us on a day-to-day basis. But here in ICU, we leverage inner authority through managing our internal controls for improved self-efficacy. So I'm not going to overload you with information this week, because I understand we cannot fix a nation by staging power plays. We don't need authoritarian pageants. We need regulated, trauma-aware stewardship. The soul of the state isn't in parades, isn't in deployments, isn't in punitive performance. It's in each of us choosing presence over projection. So in this week, what did we do? We analyzed the crime hypocrisy. Looked at how red states with higher violent crime rates are ignored. Wow. The head of our nation focuses on blue states, on blue cities. We see his retaliative tendencies, moving headquarters for the Space Command from Colorado, a state he perceives as against him, to Alabama, a state he perceives as for him. But who suffers? Us, the American people. We are just spectacles in his political theater. But not again. In ICD, we regulate ourselves and stand up, speak truth to power. So here's what I recommend for you to read, for truth seekers only, because you're the ones that will truly benefit from this. We have the Axios breakdown of violent crime rates by state and city. Analyze the facts for yourself. Third Way's Red State Murder Problem as a series for a longitudinal study of homicide trends. Read the facts. News analysis on the Space Command relocation decision, especially military versus political rationales. Thank you, always, for joining me in ICU. Like we say week after week, remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking forward with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff. Until next time on ICU, stay regulated, stay present, oppose trauma's performance with ICU healing practices and techniques. May you diagnose wisely. May you resist kindly. And may you reimagine boldly. Please subscribe, share, like our channel. Remember to always breathe. And never, ever forget to send love to your nervous system. I see you.
Using heartbeats as song bass, write theme song for the ICU.
Intentionally competent.
Providing intensive care for global mind. Tackling war propaganda, power to put global conflicts under the microscope. Exposing the system's lies and hidden hands that keep the war machine alive. From Gaza to Tehran, Washington to Tel Aviv, we dig into the facts, the headlines skip, the history they distort, and the human costs they bury. No political PR, no sanitized sound bites, just raw, verifiable truth, served with moral clarity and zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Hearing never ends, we reframe always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding ICU. May you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you. You not believe, watch you know that I do, I want you know that we feel, don't just chew the feel, that the something we do. And no politically bearing, no sanitized sound bites, just raw verifiable truth served with moral clarity, zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Here we never rest, we reframe always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead is your guiding staff. With ICU, may you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you. We never ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Here we never end, we reframe always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff. With ICU, may you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you.